Howdy, and welcome to the channel. And in this video, we're going to be doing a head-to-head competition with these different crimpers so that you know which one you should be spending your hard-earned money on. So if you're like me, you probably have one of these cheap crimpers sitting inside your toolbox. I have had so many of these little boogers through my different varying careers over my life. Yeah, they work, but let's face it, they're kind of cumbersome. And as the years have gone by, I actually ended up getting this one from my dad and really appreciated it. And it had a better crimper at the bottom, but this actually caused me problems with some of the different style of sleeves that were on the connectors. And then from there, I ended up buying one of these, which is a much better crimper. I recently picked up this one. I also picked up this one from Doyle, which is a ratcheting crimper. And overall, it's pretty nice, but it definitely has its quirks, and we'll be going over that here in a little bit. And then recently, Haisstronica reached out to me, and they wanted me to actually test some of their butt connectors, which check out the link in the description below if you have not seen that video. We actually go over different manufacturers' butt connectors, and Haisstronica is one of those that we actually pitted against some of the larger name brands out there. But they sent me these crimpers to make sure I'm actually crimping them correct. Now, these crimpers, they're very similar to the Doyle, but they function a little bit different than the Doyle, and I'm gonna show you that in the process of doing this crimping video. But what we wanna do is we wanna show is these cheapies that I pretty much guarantee most everybody has in their toolbox. Are these just as good as something like this? Should you spend the extra money on good quality crimpers, or is this one gonna be good enough for you? So with our test methodology, what we're going to do is we're going to take each crimper, we're going to take the same wire and the same style crimp. We're going to do 3 crimps for each one of these. Then we're going to throw it onto our testing apparatus. And we're actually going to separate them and pull them and see if there's any physical differences between the strengths that it has, or if it's going to fail with the wire itself. So we're going to determine all that through this testing. So the very cheap ones that most everybody has, they are extremely painful if you're actually going to get a good solid crimp in order to apply enough pressure. On top of that, as I was using it, and I'd already crimped one, it fell out where the wire did. So it didn't actually crimp anything. So I definitely don't like the crimpers. I'm not gonna be surprised at all if it fails during the test. The red handled crimpers, I like them definitely a lot better than the yellow handled ones, but they are still actually uncomfortable. In order to put enough strength, because of how wide the crimp is, you really have to exert a lot of force. So anybody who has weaker hands is going to have a serious problem with that crimping tool. The one that I've had for years that I inherited, that's the multi-function one, it actually worked really well. Now, I know this tool and I've used this tool a lot, and my big problem with this tool is it's uncomfortable once you start doing a lot of crimps. If you're only doing 6 to 8, it's no big deal, but as soon as you start getting into the dozens, which I've had to do in the past working on car audio, this thing becomes highly uncomfortable, and I don't actually like it for those. The Doyle, they look very similar to the Haisstronica, but the Doyle actually requires significantly more force to engage them, and more importantly, it requires more force to go all the way through the entire process and get it to unlatch itself. It's better than all the previous 3, but in order to get it to release, you either have to push the button or you have to press it exceptionally hard to get it go past, and that actually requires more force than the previous one that I mentioned. The Haisstronica is the smoothest of all of these. It has consistent pull through the entire process. The handles are wide like the Doyle, so it makes it very comfortable. The Doyle and the Haisstronica are very similar in physical feel, but the Haisstronica requires less force through the entire process. And most importantly, once you're done with the crimp, you're already there at releasing and opening the jaws. There's no additional force required to open the tool to remove the butt connector from the crimper. So for comfort wise, the Haisstronica absolutely knocks it out of the park. It is the most comfortable and the easiest to use, especially if you have weaker hands. Second place is the Doyle. It works really well until you get to the very end. end. That's where this one really has a problem and it struggles, and that put it in second place. An absolute dead last is this one that everybody has in their toolbox. It's a steaming pile of junk and we all know it. It's horribly uncomfortable and just doesn't feel good in your hand. So for our pull test, we're going to use this jig and we're going to grab the wire with our jaws, and then we're simply going to pull and separate. Our idea here is to see if the wire separates or if it fails at the butt connector. That will also let us know if it's a failure of the crimper itself. So for our cheap crimpers, on our first pull, we hit 13 pounds or 58 newtons, and we have a failed crimp. For our second pull on our cheap crimpers, we get 19 pounds or 84.5 newtons, and then we have a failed crimp. This is actually the best that this crimper can do. For our third and final pull, we have 4.7 pounds or 21.1 newtons, and once again, we have a failed crimp. For our red handle crimpers from Gardner Bender, our first pull was an abysmal 0.7 pounds or 3.1 newtons, and you're gonna see a trend with a failed crimp. Our second one was only slightly better at 0.8 pounds or 3.7 newtons, and once again, a failed crimp. For our third and final pull, we actually managed to eke out 4.5 pounds or 20.4 newtons, but once again, we have a failed crimp. For my old school crimpers, our first pull is 15.9 pounds or 71.1 newtons. And we have a failed crimp. For our second pull, it actually did a little bit better. We hit 18.9 pounds or 84.1 newtons. For our third and final pull, we hit 9.1 pounds or 40.7 newtons, and yet another failed crimp. Next up, we have our Doyle. For our first pull on the Doyle, we hit 13.4 pounds or 59.6 newtons, and we have a failed crimp. On our second pull, we had 20.4 pounds or 91 newtons, and that's actually going to be the highest that the Doyle hit. For our third and final pull on the Doyle, we hit 12.3 pounds or 55 newtons. For our first pull of our Haisstronica, we hit an impressive and absolute highest of all, 27 pounds or 120.1 newtons. And this actually fully failed on the sheath. For our second pull, we hit an impressive 18.2 pounds or 81 newtons, and once again, we have failed sheathing. For our third and final pull, we hit 18.5 pounds or 82.4 newtons, and again, we have failed sheathing on this. Now, I do want to cover one thing. I purposefully did not heat shrink these. If you're interested to see how good these do with the heat shrink, check out the link in the description because I do have that on the previous video. But for this test, we were solely trying to judge how the crimp itself did, not the heat shrink. I want to know how the crimpers do. So a couple of additional points that we wanted to point out with these two ratcheting crimpers. First of all, I wanted to point out that there is a difference between the actual crimp plates. If you look right here on this crimper, we do not have a flat surface on any one of these crimpers. We actually have a beveled side. But if we look at the Haisstronica, you can actually see that our first two are flat and our final one only has a minuscule little hump in it. So I genuinely believe that that is where the crimping difference comes between these two. So the teeth are different that are actually doing the crimps. The other thing I wanted to point out was we were actually filming the B-roll of this particular crimp. And as we were doing it, we figured out that it didn't want to stay in this on top of our little Lazy Susan and it fell off. Well, as we picked it up, we were going to open it like this one. And as we squeezed it, the spring flung out from inside this tool. If we look at this spring on camera, this has an actual spring in the middle, but the hooks on the end, they aren't molded as part of the spring itself. They have saved money and processing by doing pieces of stamped sheet metal that have little tabs that are simply turned into the spring. These hooks then hook onto the body. And we have a hook here that one of the hooks goes onto, And if we open this up, this right here is where the other hook goes. Well, the problem with this piece is it's 3 pieces of the steel laminated together. And whenever it laminates that steel together, there's not actually a proper hook. There's just a small little lip, which at this point is okay, but as you extend this out, you actually change the angle of that, and our spring continues to fly out. So let me see if I can replicate it. Now, if we squeeze it again, it's popped back up again. We have it higher in the air. I'm gonna squeeze it again, and now it's even a little bit higher. Well, as you continue to use this, it's going to get higher and higher until eventually there is a chance that it is going to fly out. But let me show you what Haisstronica did. If you look, this is a complete spring. They did not skimp and just put a spring with a couple of pieces of sheet metal twisted in it. They actually have a full, proper, made-to-length spring, and that spring hooks around our pin. And on this end, if you look down in there, you can actually see there is a hook, and that hook has a proper opening on it that allows the arm of our spring to actually connect up to it. And that allows for smoother operation, and it's going to allow for a lot longer longevity of the spring. I don't know if it's just ours or if this is a defect that a lot of people are having with this Doyle. Now, if you've not purchased one, buy this one because the quality is there, the build is there. Whenever you look at how they've done the spring, this is a significantly better design than the spring of the Doyle. Don't waste your money on the Doyle. Harbor Freight, if you're watching this, fix your flaw. This spring should not be this cheap of a design. If you want a tool to last for a while, put a proper spring in it. I have vice grips that were passed down from my grandmother and grandfather, and they still work because they used proper springs on the inside. Something like this, I can't guarantee that I'm going to be able to pass this generation to generation. This one, because of the design, I can, and that's important to me. So just to recap real quick, these old school ones, if you have them, they're trash. Literally just throw them in the trash. They're not worth your time and effort. The GBs, they may be good for certain types, but for the full barrel crimps that we're using, they don't work good on that. But I do love the nippers on the front. Those work very well. These old school strippers and crimpers, as you can see, the results weren't there. They didn't do very good, but I love this for the stripper and the cutters on it. As for the Doyle, obviously because of this serious flaw that we have discovered while using this tool, I definitely cannot recommend this one at all. Now, does it crimp better than any of these previous 3? Absolutely, it does crimp better. But how long is it going to crimp better? And not only that, but the fit and finish, you can definitely hear why those panels are separating, because it is not held together very tightly. If you sit there, you can actually watch the handle on it wiggle a whole bunch. And we don't have, there's no wiggle with the Haisstronica, but we do have that wiggle with the Doyle. So that's probably one of the reasons why it has problems. Do not recommend, do not pick this one up. But if you've not purchased one, then these are the bee's knees. I absolutely love these. They are great. Again, they did not pay me to review any of their stuff. They wanted me to review the heat shrink butt connectors, and they sent this along with it. So I'm doing this on my own accord because I liked them so much. They were such a pleasure to use for doing all of those crimps. If you want to pick one of these up, you can click on the link in the description below. It'll take you to their website. Or if you just want to purchase them off of Amazon, feel free. The choice is yours, but make sure that you pick up a really good crimper like this one. So thank you very much for coming along this amazing fun ride. I know that it's kind of wild and we kind of switched gears here at the end because, hey, that's the whole point of the channel, is as we test these things and use these things, and as we discover flaws, we're going to bring them to you so you can check them out and you can know where to dump your money into. Because what's the point in buying a cheapie if it doesn't do good? What's the point in buying a more expensive one if it's going to break on you? So that's our whole point here, is to make sure that we're trying the best that we can to give you really sound advice on what to buy. If you have any questions about our testing methodology or any of the things that we have done, please leave it in the comments below. We love hearing from everybody, especially amazing comments like this one. Thank you very much for leaving that comment. And remember, keep your tools sharp and your batteries charged. We'll catch you on the next one.